How many wildlife species are there in our state? Well, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency counts more than 1,300. From salamanders and songbirds to bass and black bears, the TWRA has the responsibility of managing all these species. So the next time you purchase a license to hunt or fish, rest assured, you are investing in programs that support all wildlife. In this episode, we will learn some fun facts about the eastern turkeys that are plentiful in our state. We'll revisit Governor Bill Lee's successful hunt. We'll wade in with the Fisheries crew surveying North River at Tellico. And hit the woods at Catoosa WMA in search of the spotted skunk. We'll collect and tag some invasive carp and check the progress on range construction at Buffalo Ridge. We'll also see how high school bass teams are making fishing better for everyone. Tennessee Outdoor Journal is opening the cover and inviting you in for some outdoor tips, tricks, and behind-the-scenes look at the work being done by your Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Let's turn the page. What kind of legacy will we leave when our days upon this earth are gone? Tell me who will carry on this work that we've begun, care enough to be the keeper of the dream. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Tennessee Outdoor Journal.
Yeah, they all come down. I think there's one on the ground. I'm just gonna keep making sure we don't get back toward it. They must just be sitting over there, because the toms aren't moving. I don't see the hens. They must have gone. He's inside.
I was waiting for him to get closer, but then I think he must have seen us. I blew that.
I see him.
You called him right in.
Patience paid off.
I'm shaking.
You couldn't have scripted a better walk up.
Because I thought I blew it earlier in the morning when I didn't get that smaller one.
What a beautiful.
What a what?
They gobbled right up to the decoys.
That was awesome.
There's
son.
that other Tom.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. We're very privileged and grateful to live in such a beautiful state with abundant natural resources and wildlife. And I hope you get out and enjoy the outdoors as well.
Boys,
Hey, look.
you want to touch the feathers? Why don't you take a feather? You want to take one for good luck? Look.
Dang.
That's BB's turkey.
Hi, my name is Roger Shields, Wild Turkey Program Coordinator for the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Did you know that wild turkeys almost disappeared in Tennessee? That's right. Now in the early 1800s, as Tennessee was starting to be settled, they were abundant and pretty much everywhere. But due to the pressures of settlement related to unregulated hunting and habitat loss, their numbers started to decline. Actually to the point that in the early 1900s, very few even still existed in Tennessee. Well, with recognition of the problem, efforts to restore them kicked in. Now at first, we tried to use what we call game farm or pen-reared birds and release those into these areas. But unfortunately, those birds just didn't have the characteristics, the wildness that they needed to survive and make it in the wild. So what really was the key for successful restoration was when we started trapping wild turkeys from areas where they were still abundant, primarily in southeastern and southwestern Tennessee, and then relocating them to areas where the habitat was good, but the turkeys had been removed or had died out. That effort of trapping them began in about the 1950s, continued on until the turn of the century in the early 2000s, at which point we had restored turkeys to all 95 counties and populations were healthy and abundant. So we considered it a success and concluded that effort.
We are in the Cherokee National Forest in Monroe County, Tennessee, outside of Tellico Plains. and we're conducting our wild trout surveys on North River, and we've got 3 set sites that we survey every year. And we do what's called a 3-pass depletion, where we block off a section of stream and then we run 4 backpack shockers wide and move up through the stream and collect every fish that comes up. So we've probably got close to a dozen different species here, and we'll collect all of those, including the trout, and then we'll put them in buckets at the end. We'll sort through the fish of the different species, and then we want to get a count. We get individual lengths and weights on all of our trout, and then we get kind of a batch weight and the minimum length and maximum length on the different non-game species.
Fisheries doesn't see themselves as doing anything special, and to them it's just another day on the job. But when you work in information and education, you see the special work that they do, you see how hard they work. Everybody huddled up, eating lunch at their truck after the first 3 passes, and then they move on to 2 more sections of the river, and they'll do 3 more passes on each of those sections. So they really care, and they're really dedicated to understanding the overall health of this ecosystem.
In every season, the best time to go fishing in Tennessee is always right now, and especially as the leaves begin to turn. Great fishing adventures are driving distance from every corner of the state, where you can reel in unforgettable memories with friends and family that will last a lifetime. For generations, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency has protected and preserved our great outdoors. You do your part by purchasing your license at GoOutdoorsTennessee.com.
We've got USGS, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, TWA, Tennessee Tech, Alabama Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, Mississippi. We are going to be shocking some carp and collecting them out on Pickwick. We got all these boats in the water to try and get people close together to have a tighter, better electrical field to kind of herd these fish towards the back of that embayment. And that's when we kind of just started this little bit of a circus back there, you know, trying to net fish. These particular fish are really good at evading our capture gears a lot of times, so that's why you saw so many boats. They're stunned, get them into the boat, get water on them right away. They'll start recovering. We get them back to the surgery table as quick as we can.
We're putting some acoustic tags into silver carp. Right now I'm scraped away some scales so I can make an incision. I'm using a pointed scalpel here just to cut through the skin and cut through the muscle layer here. We just got to be careful not to cut too deep where we cut anything inside the abdominal cavity, so you just got to be careful with your incision. I'm going to insert an acoustic tag right now. It's got an ID up here. These have a gray top and a sensor, so these can actually tell us how deep the fish are. So it's a little different from the other tags that we're going to use this afternoon. I'm going to slip it into the abdominal cavity here, and then I'm just going to try to move it around a little bit so the tag's not pushing back on the incision there.
For this USGS project in particular, we're translocating them. So we collect them up on Pickwick Reservoir, and we're moving them down below Pickwick Dam into what's technically part of Kentucky Lake now. We move these fish down here. We've got receivers throughout Kentucky Lake, and then at Pickwick Dam and in the lock and above the dam, so that when these fish come back upstream, in theory, we will be able to track them with those receivers that we have, and learn more about when they move through the locks, how they move through the locks. Do those movements, those upstream passages, coordinate or coincide, I guess, with barge traffic and lock opening.
Hi, I'm Johnny Allred with the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Foundation and
Lieutenant Eric Anderson, District 21 with the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
we are here to thank Academy Sports for supporting the Bobby Wilson Free Fishing Day throughout Tennessee. A lot of counties will have places lined up for people to go fishing and take kids fishing, and we'll have a lot of prizes for them and giveaways and hot dogs and hamburgers for them to enjoy, and it's all appreciation of Academy Sports helping us out.
Yeah, and the gear we're getting today are for the fishermen, fisherwomen, all the sportsmen of the state, as well as some gear that officers can utilize in these events as they go out and invite as many people as they can to our waters and fish this weekend. So it's a special weekend for us, and we really appreciate Academy support, and I couldn't ask for anything more.
Thank you.
We're not really clear on spotted skunk populations in Tennessee, which is part of the aim of this project. Aside from the intrinsic value of just it's an animal that exists on the landscape that's interesting, they are nature's cleanup crew. So they're helping everything that is picking up all of the dead stuff in the woods. And they're great rodent control. They exist as a mesopredator, so they're not the top of the food chain and they're not the bottom, but they're taking care of that intermediate space that's really important. So we chose Catoosa for the pilot project because it's a contiguous block that's pretty large. And the way the initial camera trap sites are chosen is random, so that we are not biasing where we think these critters will occur. And wherever we're getting hits on cameras, that's where we're gonna focus our physical trapping. So one unique thing that separates the spotted skunk from the striped skunk is that they can climb trees. So a lot of the den sites that we find are actually up in snags, in addition to their dens and rock shelters and stuff like that that they use. Once we get them out of a trap, we're gonna immediately put our tracking collar on them in case they get away, and handling at least we've got tracking on them. We give them ear tags, so if they're recaptured, we know which unique skunk that is. We take all the usual measurements: body length, tail length, we take hind foot length, we take weight. We assess reproductive condition, We usually look for any sign of something like distemper or ringworm. And then after that, after they've been worked up, off they go. These spotted skunks are almost entirely nocturnal, but we think that understory structure matters a lot because one of their primary predators is the great horned owl. And so if they're out at night, they're going to want to be hidden. And even though they're black and white and that's a warning to other critters, the owls don't care. So right now, the one we have currently collared is going to be denned up somewhere, and then we can go in and just unobtrusively figure out what that den site looks like, what that area around that den site looks like as far as the vegetative conditions, and hopefully take all of that data at the end of this and be able to say something about the den sites they're selecting for and where they're occurring on the landscape. We know that range-wide across the eastern U.S., the eastern spotted skunk subspecies has declined like 95% in the past 50-plus years. Part of that is due to habitat loss, and we know in Tennessee we've got piles of people moving in here from everywhere else, so we're trying to get a grasp on this and sort of get ahead of what's coming down the pike for losing habitat here in our home state.
Come on, babe, let's go outside and take the boat out for a ride. I'm ready, I don't wanna wait. Cause the only time I'm feeling free is when I got that ocean breeze, so kicking it out on the lake. Get on board. Got the sunshine and the short line. It's the good life. Get on board, get on board. Have a good time, casting that line. It's a good life. Get on board, get on board.
Get your fishing license today at GoOutdoorsTennessee.com.
Get on board.
Okay, we're on Buffalo Ridge in Humphreys County. We've been here for 13 months building a gun range, an archery range, and 5-stand shotgun range. This is a 50-yard range. We started it July of last year and we finished in Thanksgiving, so this was actually built in 21. Inlet pipes like this, there's one in each corner. It's crowned like a football field. Half the water goes to one side and goes down to the corner to run out, and the other half goes to the other corner. So the water that falls inside the range will go to each corner. This 50-yard burner, it had to be raised 13 feet just to get up to level, and then we had to put the side berms on after that. So the back berm is 115 foot tall because of the terrain, because it followed the hill. The original land fell off, and it's much lower there. So if you look this way, it don't look like that big and much dirt. Yeah. But if you go back on the back side and look, it's a lot of dirt. There'll be a building here with a shooting house over it, roof, concrete floor, so they'll have lots of places to shoot 50 yards. Right here between the 50 and the 100 yard, there's going to be bathrooms for the facilities and stuff. And then on the other side of it here, this is the 100-yard range. Same back berm, same elevation, same height as the other one. Same drains in the corners. Here where the red gravel is, there'll be the shooting houses and concrete floor and shooting benches and everything else for the 100. And you'll be pulling in here, so this will be parking, and the road will be to the back side of it. Okay. But there'll be parking rows up through here, and there'll be a sidewalk up there, and it'll be handicap accessible. And on this side of the road, we've got an archery range. Next to the road here, there'll be a shooting pavilion and house over here, and then you'll be shooting towards that way, towards that berm. We had to raise the berm up. The original plans didn't show it that high, so we went ahead and raised it up, make it a little safer. This is the 5-stand. We'll shoot shotguns and shoot out where you got the trees in the background there and stuff, adjacent to the 100-yard range. They'll come in with a concrete pad and do whatever they do with the 5-stand and for the shooting and stuff. And you got a little parking lot back here behind you where you'll park. And we are tickled to death. It's done. We're proud of it. Had some good guys working. All my operators done an excellent job, and like I said, we've been here a long time. We're glad it's done, but we're proud of the work we did do.
Today we have Riverside Bass Team, and then we got a couple from Scott Seals Bass Team. We're getting out, trying to clean up our area, get all the trash off the river, and putting out habitat is what we've been doing for the last couple days. I think they said we had somewhere between 220 to 250 bags of trash, and somewhere around 3,000 stakes yesterday. Today we've got another 2,000 or 3,000 stakes we're fixing to try to put out down through Beach River and Pearl Harbor area. I think they're going to build a pier out here and we're trying to just make it real nice for everybody to enjoy.
We came out to help today for this fish habitat and to put these stakes in and make these beds and mats so these kids will have some fish in here. Proud to be a part and proud to be a part of something that's creating the future of the fish and the future for the kids. And seeing these smiles on these kids' faces, it's all worth it.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Tennessee Outdoor Journal. We'll see you next time. Tennessee Outdoor Journal is produced by your Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Tell me who will carry on this work that we've begun. Care enough to be the keeper of the dream. This legacy